Okay, I am back to talk to you about lengthwise and widthwise grain of fabric, and then I will show you which way to cut out the masks. So I finished cutting my strips of fabric for the ties, 1.5 inches on the lengthwise grain of fabric and 20 inches on the widthwise grain of fabric. And I did that because we wanted the selvage edge on the end of the ties, the end of the tie that's going to be out where it's getting used a lot. So I'm going to set my ties aside and I'm going to talk to you a minute about lengthwise and widthwise grain of fabric. I actually bought a whole bunch of this fabric, but if you can imagine, you take your fabric to the cutting table and the cardboard piece that the fabric is wrapped around is in the middle, and they'll open up the fabric and you tell them how much you want and they unfold it and they cut it on the widthwise grain of fabric. So the selvage edges are here, and the selvage edges run parallel to the lengthwise grain of fabric, and the widthwise grain of fabric is perpendicular to the selvage edge. So for the masks, since they're going to be going across your face, they need a little bit more stretch and flexibility. So we're going to make our masks, the measurement for the masks is 7 inches by 10 inches. This 7 inches is going to go on your lengthwise grain of fabric, which is this way, and the 10 inches is going to go across the widthwise grain of fabric. So you have, let's see if I can get a hold of the fabric, so you have that extra stretch and flexibility there. So I'm going to get rid of this bigger piece of fabric, and this is the other piece of fabric that I had set aside because I don't care. We're not going to use this for the actual face masks. So what I want to do is we're going to measure this to 7 inches. So right now I'm sitting at, let's see, there's 7 inches right there. And it's better if you have extra fabric than not enough. So you can take all your extra fabric and have a special place for fabric scraps, and you can save those fabric scraps for some cool projects. So I'm going to double check. I've got 2, 4, 6, 7. So I'm going to cut my 7 inches all the way down. Come on the other side. Oh, sorry, here goes my camera again. Okay, so now what we're going to do, I'm going to turn my fabric, and we're going to measure 10 inches now. We've got our 7 inches on the widthwise grain. I just flipped it. So now we're going to measure 10 inches this way because this is our width grain of fabric. And you'll be able to get 2 masks out of this whole 1/3 of fabric that you got. So this line here is sitting on 15 inches, and I want to make sure that my other raw edges are lined up on my ruler, my mat ruler. And if you don't have a mat ruler, you got to have one of these if you're going to use a rotary cutter and your ruler, because this is really sharp and you need this protection, the mat protection, so you don't cut any tables or anything. So here's my first 7 by 10 inch piece of fabric for one mask, and we'll bring this over and do the next 10 inches. And there we go. You'll have just a little bit left over. That's not worth saving, so that you can trash. You choose what fabric you want to be in your fabric scraps bucket and which you want to throw away. So here are the pieces for your 2 masks. Since these are both the same fabrics, eventually when we ended up putting the masks together, you want to have one side of the mask different than the other. So for purposes of this mask, we're going to be sewing a right side and a wrong side together, and you will see why later. I just wanted to throw that out there right now. So you have 2 masks here. You have enough ties for your 2 masks, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.